Hey guys, I'm Nisa Homey. Today I'm sharing healthy and nutrient-rich Ragi set dosha recipe. This soft and spongy Ragi set dosha can be enjoyed as a breakfast or as an early light dinner in your weight loss journey. Naturally fermented millets are a good source of vitamin B12. They are also easy to digest and light on the stomach. Do try to include whole grains like millets in your weight loss diet, as they are a rich source of essential vitamins, minerals and fiber. So let's get started with the recipe. To make Ragi set dosha, into a bowl I'm adding in 1 cup of ragi. Ragi or finger millet is a whole grain and it is completely gluten free. It's rich in fiber, and the high fiber helps to keep you feel fuller for a longer time and thus helps in weight loss and weight management. It's packed with calcium, good carbs, amino acids and vitamin D. Ragi has a good source of iron, thus ideal for those with iron deficiency anemia. It is also one of the very few natural sources of vitamin D. Hence, when you're using ragi, do try to include a good source of healthy fat for better assimilation of vitamin D, which is a fat soluble vitamin. Into this I'm adding in half cup split whole urad dal. Whole black urad dal has the skin, which makes it high in fiber. However, if you don't have black urad dal at hand, you can use skinless white urad dal instead. 2 teaspoon fenugreek seeds, also known as methi seeds or uluva in Malayalam. Add in some water. And I'm going to wash and rinse this a couple of times or until the water runs clear. I bought the ragi locally, hence there may be sand, dirt or dust particles. So I'm going to wash and rinse it thoroughly. Once rinsed, I'm adding in some more water and I'm allowing it to soak for about 6 hours. Longer soaking period is ideal when you are using millets, as it will help to release the phytic acid content in millets. So always try to soak millets for at least 6 hours before using them. Also, longer soaking will help with easy fermentation. So I'm going to soak it for about 6 hours. It's about 6 hours now since the ragi and the dals has been soaking. So I'm going to rinse it a couple of times and then I'm going to add it into my blender jar. Add the rinsed ragi and dals into the blender jar. Into this I'm adding in 3/4 cup of water. The water should be just above the ingredients. So anywhere between 3/4 to 1 cup of water will be ideal. Into this I'm adding in pink Himalayan salt as needed, and I'm going to grind this to a fine dosha batter consistency. Pour the blended batter into a bowl. With my hand, I'm mixing this really well for about 2 to 3 minutes. This will help with easy fermentation. Note that I have not added any poha or rice in the dosha batter. So this step is highly important. You need to mix this with your hand for about 2 to 3 minutes. Just take the dosha batter and squeeze and squish with your hand. This will really help in easy fermentation. So do not skip this process. Also note that the batter is neither too thin nor too thick. It is of pourable consistency. So this is how the batter for set dosha should be. And now I'm going to cover it with a lid. Note that I'm not using a tight lid because we need the wild airborne yeast to help with the fermentation process. So do not use a tight lid. I'm just placing a lid over the bowl. I'm going to allow it to ferment for about 8 to 10 hours or overnight. Fermentation time will also depend upon the climate of the place you live in. And the next day morning, the batter is nicely fermented. You can see how airy the batter is. It's perfectly fermented. This batter will also keep good in the refrigerator for a couple of days. You can see how perfectly the batter has fermented. Note that I did not use any rice or poha while grinding this batter. The batter did ferment really well without using any rice or poha. Naturally fermented foods are easy to digest They help to maintain your gut health and to keep the gut flora healthy. They're also a good source of vitamin B12. So do try to include fermented foods in your diet for your better health. This fermented dosha batter is ideal to include in diabetic diet, thyroid and PCOS diet, in weight loss diet, or if you simply want to eat healthy. I'm making a chutney to go with the ragi set dosha, and to make the chutney protein rich, I'm adding in 3 tablespoons of pottu kadala, also known as pori kadala in Malayalam. To make it vitamin C rich, I have some salted amla, and I'm taking 1 amla. I'm slicing the amla into the chutney grinder. Instead of salted amlas, you can use fresh amla or dried amla in this chutney. Into this, I'm adding in 2 green chilli. Green chilli you can increase or decrease as per your taste. 3 to 4 shallots. I prefer to use shallots in my recipes as they are a good source of iron and folate. They are also high in antioxidants and also a good source of prebiotics. Half to 3/4 cup of grated coconut or as needed. 1/4 cup water. Pink Himalayan salt as needed, and now I'm going to blend this into a fine chutney. Pour the blended chutney into a serving bowl. There is some residue chutney in the chutney grinder. I'm adding in a couple of splashes of water, and I'm washing down the chutney into the bowl. This way you can make sure that you're not wasting even a tiny bit of the chutney. Give this a good mix. I don't prefer to heat the coconut chutney. I like to have it raw like this, but I'll be giving a tadka to this. This is the consistency of the chutney I prefer. If you prefer slightly thinner chutney, you can add in a couple of tablespoons extra water. Make sure you are using filtered water when you're making the chutney. For tadka, I'm heating 1 teaspoon of wood pressed coconut oil. Once the oil is heated, I'm adding in half teaspoon mustard seeds. Once the mustard seed starts to splutter, reduce the flame to the lowest. Add in 2 whole red chilies. I'm breaking into smaller pieces and adding in 4 to 5 shallots sliced. A sprig of fresh curry leaves. I'm tearing the curry leaves and adding in so that the flavors are released. Allow the shallots to turn light golden color. Pour the tadka over the chutney. And my healthy coconut chutney is ready to serve. To make the ragi set dosha, I'm heating my cast iron tawa and I'm greasing it with wood pressed gingerly oil. Gingerly oil is also known as sesame oil or nallenna in Malayalam. Reduce the flame to the lowest and then pour in 1 to 1.5 ladle full of the dosha batter and lightly spread it out. Drizzle in half teaspoon wood pressed sesame oil. 1 to 2 minutes later, open the lid. You can see that the ragi set dosha has come out perfectly. You can see the bubbles in the dosha. That shows the fermentation is nicely done. And once done, transfer to a plate. Repeat the same thing with the rest of the batter. Let me show you how soft and spongy the set dosha is. You can see the bubbles on top, which shows that it is nicely fermented. So guys, do try this healthy ragi set dosha recipe and let me know how it turned out. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care. Bye bye.